Hello and welcome to today's Beyond the Shelf Story and Activity Time. My name is Mary Ann Wright and I'm a 4-H area educator with Lincoln University Cooperative Extension. Today's story is Finding Kindness. I chose this story because it's always important to look for kindness in others and also to show kindness. And this book is great because it points out all the different ways that kindness can reveal itself. So let's get started. Finding Kindness, written by Deborah Underwood and illustrated by Irene Chan. Kindness is sometimes a cup and a card, or a ladder, a truck and a tree, a scritch and a cuddle, a rake and a yard, a cookie, a carrot, a key. It's a seed and a feeder, a seat on a train, a daisy, a peach or a pie, a wave at a baker, a boost on a crane, a sandwich shared up in the sky. Kindness is sometimes a tip in a case or a tap when a lace is untied. It's taking a photo or making some space. It's a racket, a rocket, a ride. It's dirt and a shovel, petunias and pails. It's trees that will someday give shade. It's plans and a hammer. It's lumber and nails. It's houses and cold lemonade. Kindness is sometimes just taking a break or sitting with someone who's sad, forgiving yourself when you've made a mistake, or forgiving a friend who got mad. It's cuddling puppies, it's holding a door, it's a toy and a treat and a comb. It's seeing the animals others ignore, it's a leash and a lick and a home. Kindness is sometimes a song or a stick or a hi and a bat and a ball. It's soup when a neighbor is sneezy and sick, or a scoop if one happens to fall. It's reading a story, it's feeding a fish, it's a bucket, a book, and a yard. It's kissing a sister, it's wishing a wish. It's a bug and a cup and a card. So that was the book, Finding Kindness. And you see in the book, kindness is a lot of different things. It can be reaching out to others when you know they feel bad. It can just be being polite, making sure that you notice people, that you're kind when you greet them, when you say goodbye. It can be all sorts of things. So I just love this book, and I thought it was a good one to share for today's story time. The activity we're going to be completing today, we are going to be making kindness rocks. And if you've never seen a kindness rocks, they are really simple and it's an easy way to spread joy and kindness in your community. So I'm going to first show you an example that I have done. And I used images from the book for my kindness rocks. And I loved the beginning, how it also kind of made a full circle, and it was also the ending of the story, because we know she starts out with the ladybug and then she ends also with the ladybug. So I made one of my kindness rocks a ladybug, and it just says be kind on it. So this is super simple. These are the things you're going to need for your project. You're going to need to find a rock or several different rocks. So you can go outside and explore, look for those. It's fun to take time and really walk around your neighborhood, see if you can find some cool rocks. Then you're going to need some paint, and you can just use regular craft paint for this. You're going to need something to put your paint on, so I have a small plate here. I'm going to be using a permanent marker, so if you have that, you can also just use paint if you want. And then you're going to need a paintbrush or two and some clear nail polish is what I'm going to be using today. The first thing you need to do with your rock is make sure it's very clean. So I've already rinsed off my rock. I've added a little bit of soap and water and gave it a good wash, and then I just let it set and dry for a bit. So now it is completely dry and it's ready to paint. Now for my kindness rocks, I like to start with a base coat. So that means that I pick a color and I cover the whole background in that same color. So today I'm going to use some green for my base color, and I'm just going to take and start painting my rock there. Make sure it gets a good coat. Now if you want to paint your whole rock, you can certainly do that. You can do one side and then you can let it dry and then start painting the other side. I kind of like just using one side that has pink and leaving one side natural. So that's what I've done here on this one that I painted just a little bit ago. So one side is painted green for my background and the other side still looks like an ordinary rock. So that's what I'm going to use today. So once you have the background, you're going to let it dry completely. So this won't take long because it's craft paint, but you do want to make sure that it's not wet, because then when you make your design, your colors will get all muddy and kind of run together. After you have your dry rock, you're going to add your design. So this is the fun part where you can figure out exactly what you want to put on your kindness rock. And again, I'm going to use something from the book. And one thing that I kind of thought was funny, because I never think about them being kind, and that is carrots. And they were mentioned in the book that a carrot could be kind. So I don't have any orange paint, but I do have some yellow and some red. So I'm going to mix those together for my carrot. And since this rock is long, I thought it would be perfect to put my carrot on here. So I'm going to start and just paint my carrot on my rock there. So I have the base of my carrot. Now it needs a little bit of green there. So I have a little bit of a darker color than my background that I'm going to add and just make my carrot right there. Now after you have your design all figured out and put on your rock, then you can add some fun words. And you want these words to be kind, they want to express gratitude, or just be kind of a motivating thing. So I'm going to add on mine to stay bright, because carrots are bright orange, so I'm going to say stay bright on my rock here, and I'm just going to use a Sharpie. Now again, if you want to use some paint and you have a steady hand, go ahead and use paint to make your words, but I like using a marker because that gives me a little bit more control over my writing. So I say stay bright on my rock here. Now since I just painted that carrot, it's still a little wet, so I'm going to use another rock for my next step. So here's one that I made some flowers on, and it says smile. And before I give this away, or before I put this outside, I want to make sure to seal the rock. Now if you're going to make a lot of different rocks and several at the same time, you might want to buy just a clear coat in a spray can. And you can find this with the spray paints at your store. But I'm just making a few, and so what I'm going to use today is just some clear nail polish. So just a clear or a top coat nail polish. And after your design is all on your rock and it's dry and your words are written, you can just take this clear nail polish and you're going to go right on top of your rock. You want to make sure that every single part that has paint on it has some nail polish on it. Now, if you used a permanent marker and then you're going to add this, you want to be sure to just kind of go over those words one time and not keep going over that, because your permanent marker might start to smear a little bit. So I always start going over my words first and just do one good coat over my words, and then I complete the rest of my rock. So once you have that, you just let it dry, and then you're complete. You're finished with your kindness rocks. So I have a few examples here. So this one I said, yay you, and it's a picture of a chocolate chip cookie, because I always think that's great. If I ever get a chocolate chip cookie, that's certainly a good way to show kindness, is giving one to a friend. Also have one here that has a rainbow and it says, you matter. So that would be a fun one to find. And then the one I showed you earlier with my ladybug that just says be kind on it. So now that I have these complete, I can give these away. So if you know somebody that could use a little pick-me-up that might need to hear some kind things said to them, these would be a great thing to give. Or you can set them around your community. So that's what a lot of people do with kindness rocks, is they just make them and then set them at random places around their town. And then when you find one, you get to keep it. So you can just share kindness with somebody you don't even know. But there's a few rules when you are doing this. You want to be sure that you're sharing it somewhere that you have permission, or that's a public place. So usually you see these in public places, and you don't probably want to hide it in somebody's yard, and you especially don't want to put it in their grass or grass anywhere, because what happens when we mow our yard and we run across a rock, we can actually harm our lawnmower. So we want to make sure to put them in places that are not easily seen, but that are not going to be walked over and tripped over and used when you're mowing your lawn. So that could be a flower bed, maybe tucked against the side of a building or on a step, places like that. So when you share your kindness, be conscious of where you're putting them to make sure that it's not going to cause any harm, because the whole point of kindness rocks are to spread joy and kindness. So I hope that you do this activity and share a little bit of joy, and I hope you enjoyed today's book, which was Finding Kindness. Thank you so much for joining me today for our Beyond the Shelf story and activity time. I have enjoyed sharing stories with you over the last few weeks, and I hope you join us for tomorrow's online programming that will post right here tomorrow at 1:30. Okay, guys, see you later. Bye-bye.